New year, new questions, Q&A. Let's do it.
DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dre Baldwin. Website is DreAllDay.com. You are here at Q&A number 52. That's 52 consecutive weeks of doing this Q&A, but that's nothing compared to 7 straight years of putting videos out on YouTube every single day. I know a lot of people copying that now, but that's neither here nor there. We're here at the Q&A. For those of you who don't know how this Q&A works, what I do is go over the questions from the previous week's video, which is Q&A 51. I read through the comments and I respond to the questions that each person asked in their comment. I take one question per person or per comment, or based on whatever way they word the question, I might answer more than one if it's succinct enough for me to answer, if I can answer succinctly enough. So any of you watching this for the first time, now you know how the Q&A is working. If you want to participate, you want me to answer your question, all you got to do is leave it in the comments to this video. Make sure you're not asking me something that I'm going to cover in this video. So that means you got to watch the damn video so you're not asking me the same questions over and over again, because I'm not going to keep answering them. So without further ado, let's get right into the Q&A. Again, I have not looked at any of these questions or comments yet. I'm seeing them all for the first time. We want to make this as rapid fire as possible, as real as possible. So let's get right into it. First question is from KJ Adams. He says, in your opinion, what is a, in quotation marks, true point guard? I don't really have a definition of a true point guard. In the game of basketball, there's only 3 objectives. The objective of offense is for the ball to go in the basket. The objective of defense is to stop the opponent from putting the ball in the basket. And the overall objective of the game is to have more points than the other team at the end of the game, whether that score is 100-99 or the score is 1-0. If you have more points, you won. The ultimate objective of playing basketball is to actually win the game. So true point guard, whether how many assists somebody gets, how often they shoot, with their mentality, X, Y, Z. That's just stuff that gives people things to talk about and people to debate about. I don't really care or get into that stuff. All I can judge players off of is, are they accomplishing the objective of the game, which is to win games. And of course, having individual stats plays a role in that, because if a player scores... a player scores 25 points compared to a player who has 0 points, that player with 25, as far as the scoring part goes, played a bigger role than the player who has 0. But of course, there are a bunch of other factors that go into it. So what makes a true point guard? I don't know. I'm not really into that. I just judge players off their actual results, which is winning and losing. Next question. Konstantin Dejanovic says, I shoot good in games, but in practice, I don't. Why? Well, Constantine, how the hell should I know? You're the one that's doing it. You tell me why. Next question is Cosmic Nook. Says, Dre, I was wondering if you know why some high school coaches pick taller people that can't ball and they cut smaller people that can ball. I'm not saying that all tall people can't ball, but at my school, I was at the tryouts. I got cut, but I did better than some of the other guys, but they just chose them because they're tall, and one of them was the same height as me, but they picked him because his dad was 6'3". What do I think about this? Well, I think that's complete bullshit, your whole explanation and all these excuses you're throwing out. First of all, that last one, he said, for all y'all watching, to put this in perspective, this guy, Cosmic Nook, says him and another player were the same size, but they picked the other player because his dad is 6'3". Now, Cosmic Nook, do you really, really believe that? I'm 99% sure you don't believe that, and you know that's bullshit. Okay, so I don't know if you thought saying that to me was going to get my what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of the word, but no, it's not going to get that word that I can't even think of. You said his dad, really? Because his dad's 6'3", really? You think that's why the guy got picked over you? I think the guy got picked over you because he's better than you. Now, as I tell players all the time, the only way you're going to be able to get from point A to point B is to understand that you're at point A. Because if you think you're at point D, then I can't get you from point A to point B. Right? And the reason I say that is to say this. If you don't understand the fact that you're not getting the things that you want is because your skill level is just not high enough, or maybe your skill level is very high, but your performance level is not high. And performance level means what you're doing in the actual games. You might have great skills when you practice by yourself, but performance means what you do when it's time to perform, whether that be the tryout or the game, or when you're playing your man one-on-one, or whatever the situation is. Those are 2 separate things. You got to be able to put them together. And that's something that I stress. I go over and over again. Not only that you have to do it, but how you can do it in every aspect of the game. I cover that in writing, also in video. For those of you who don't know, I know a lot of you haven't seen everything I put out. So Cosmic Nook, he says, do I know? His question was, why do some high school coaches pick taller guys over smaller guys? Well, Cosmic Nook, here's the thing. Maybe some not college coaches, but high school coaches. Maybe some high school coaches do pick taller guys over smaller guys. I can't speak for high school coaches in general because you're talking about thousands of high schools. You go to one high school. So you can't speak for all high school coaches, or not even most or majority. You can only speak for the one that you're dealing with. And here's the thing that you need to focus on. So we're not even going to talk about what high school coaches think, because we can't control what another person thinks, can we? You can only control what you think. You can't control what I think. Can't control what that coach or any of the other players or that guy's dad or whatever other things you're talking about. You can't control nothing that any of them think, do, or say. You can only control you. So let's focus on the thing we can control, which is you. What you need to do is step up your performance, because if you had performed at a certain level above what you did at tryouts, you wouldn't even be asking me this question, because you would have made the team, right? Now, if you improve your skill level, that will in turn increase your chances of improving your performance level. So you need to increase your skill, which is what you can do on your own practicing. And since you got cut from the team, now that you got some time on your hands, the time that you would have been spending on the basketball team, spend that exact same time focusing on improving your performance level. Go join a local team, go join a rec league, go join some type of organized basketball, go play pickup, whatever you need to do to improve your performance. And the third thing you need to do outside of the actual on the court stuff is cut the bullshit. Nobody wants to hear the excuses, oh, I got cut because I'm small. No, you got cut because you're not good. If you were good and small, you would have made the team. If you're tall and a complete bum, you don't make the team. But we don't have to focus on the tall person who's a bum, because you're not the tall person, right? You're the small person who got cut. Improve your game, and you'll improve your chances of all the other successes that you want. You won't have to worry about nobody's dad, what nobody is thinking, how tall somebody else is, or any of that other stuff. Only thing you can control is you. So focus on you, improve you, and the results will follow. Next question. LA4L42 says, what is a good way to dribble, like dribbling down the court? How high or low should the ball be? How much force should you put into dribbling the ball? And then he says, I saw a point guard video where he said to dribble with your fingertips and not your palm. So is that good advice? All right, LA, here's where you begin. First of all, get off YouTube. Stop taking people's advice. Stop thinking of all these different things, or how much or how high or how little or what part of my hand. Take all of that out of your brain. You got too many thoughts going on up there right now, and that's your number one problem, based on your question, that is. What you need to do is go to a basketball court and start practicing your ball handling. That's what you need to do. Don't think about how high the ball is bouncing, or how low the ball is bouncing, or how much force you're going to put into it, or what part of your fingers you're dribbling with. Let me ask you a question. If I tell you how much force to put in it, what are you going to do? Are you going to measure that? Are you going to do some type of scientific or mathematical equation to determine how much force you're putting into dribbling the basketball? No, you're not going to do that. Are you going to take out some tape measure or ruler to measure how high you're dribbling the basketball and say, okay, I just scored a layup, but I was dribbling 24 inches instead of 23 inches, so that basket doesn't count? No, you're not going to do that either. So what you need to do is get on the court and start playing basketball. If you ask the best point guard you ever heard of, let's say you got to meet that person. Let's say your favorite point guard was Chris Paul, right? And you met Chris Paul and said, hey, Chris Paul, how high should I dribble the ball? Or how low, or how much pressure should I put into the ball? Chris Paul will probably look at you like you're crazy. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just dribble the damn basketball. You got to go on the court and start playing. A lot of players ask me a lot of questions, these menu tie, like, oh, how high do I dribble the ball? Or how am I supposed to hold my hands? Or how are my feet supposed to be when I'm playing defense? If you get on the court and practice and get into games and play enough, you won't have any of these questions, because you'll already be doing it. You don't need to define these things. You're not writing a basketball encyclopedia, and it doesn't need to exist, because the game of basketball, is not a science, it's an art, which means two different people can do the exact same process two completely different ways and still get the exact same result. Because remember, we only had 3 outcomes in basketball: score on offense, get stops on defense, win at the end of the game. Whatever way you need to get there. One player goes this direction and gets to the goal here, that's fine. Another player comes this way, gets there. Another player comes this way. Another player goes all these different directions and gets there. Guess what? All four people still achieved the objective. So the objective of dribbling the ball from point A to point B in basketball doesn't matter how high or low, because that varies. We all know that. It doesn't matter how much force, because that also varies. And again, how do you quantify that? I'm not going to give you a number for you to go measure. I don't even know how you would measure that. You need to get on the court, get off YouTube, stop taking advice, stop seeking advice, stop trying to memorize what everybody tells you you should do or shouldn't do. There's a lot of information out there these days. I understand that for a lot of you young developing players and even you older players. What a lot of you need to do is not get more information, not get more things to think about or more things to compare to the things you already know. What you need to do is eliminate a lot of stuff. A lot of you doing too much thinking, too much talking, too much weighing this opinion versus that opinion. What you need to do is eliminate a lot of that stuff. Just go do something and you'll figure it out as you go. You will not know all the answers to basketball before you start playing. If you're waiting to get all the answers and 100% of the information before you begin, 5, 10, 20 years going to go by. You're still going to not be good. You're still going to not have done anything. And then you're going to have to tell your kids like, damn, I missed my opportunity because I was waiting to figure everything out. Next question. KB Titan says, I'm striving to become the next Kobe. Now, KB Titan, before I even read the rest of this question, I got to give y'all some background. This KB Titan has left the question in the Q&A for like 4 weeks straight, and every week he's telling me how he wants to be the next Kobe Bryant, and I've given him information and he keeps coming back with a new comment. So we're going to read this and see what he has to say. He says, I'm striving to be the next Kobe Bryant, not the same as him, but a similar style and mindset. I have the athleticism like when Kobe was younger and the moves, and I'm bound to become great, even though people may not think that, so wish me good luck. He says, is it possible to make a smaller version of the Kobe Bryant signature handbook for him? Not like the full thing, but just a few things in it. And then every time I play games with my friends, they complain and say I play too hard because I was playing hard lockdown defense like in the 80s, the 1980s, he's saying. My friend kept saying I was poking him, but I was only playing hard. How should I respond to weak, soft players? Well, KB Titan, as I said when I first got into this question, I've given you pretty much all the information you need. You actually didn't need any information. I mean, if you have Kobe's game, athleticism, and moves, you don't really need any information from me, KB Titan. So I think you need to kind of figure out which one it is. Either you got the game or you don't. Because if you had a game, you wouldn't be here asking me all these questions. How do I play? How do I think? Can you give me some Kobe Bryant? You just said you had all Kobe Bryant's moves. So why would you need the Kobe Bryant package? That doesn't even make sense. Kobe Bryant doesn't need the Kobe Bryant Hoop Handbook program because Kobe Bryant already got the game. Okay? So you got to figure out which one it is, KB Titan. I think your reality is in conflict with what you're saying. Next question. And actually, someone followed up to that. And usually I don't want people responding to the comments of other people in the Q&A because I'll do it in a video like this. But someone said, if I don't want to get a full program, so one of the Hoop Handbook signature workout programs, which is at my training program site, hoophandbook.com, for those of you who don't know, he says he doesn't want to, if you don't want to get a certain one, you can get certain programs, such and such and such. And then he's given some type of advice to this guy, which makes no sense. So anyway, my answer to KB Titan is no, you can't get a smaller version of the Kobe Bryant package. If you want the Kobe Bryant package, I don't know why, since you already have all Kobe's game. But if you want it, then you get the full package. If you only want a part of the package, then get the whole package and just do the part that you want to do. That's up to you. Next question. Jesse Wick says, when I play in a club game, he says, I play Division III under 16s. I love to play defense and be loud on the court. I'm always being told by the referees that I'm trash talking, and sometimes I get technicals for messing up people's concentration, quote unquote. Is there any other ways I can, I guess, be a nuisance on the defensive end? Well, Jesse, what you should do, because since referees are human beings, they make judgment calls. So you could do the exact same thing. You could say the exact same words the exact same way in two separate games, and one referee will call a tech. Another referee will not say anything because it's a judgment call. A technical foul is a judgment call, just like a foul, a travel. Everything is a judgment call. They're not robots. They're not machines and computers calling the calls. They're human beings. So what you need to do next time you get called for a technical is ask the referee, what did I do wrong? Or what can I do? Where did I cross the line? What did I say or do that caused me to get the tech? And then based on what they say, you can adjust your behaviors. Next question. Tayshin24 says, Dre, I'm 6'4" and I have a 7-foot wingspan. Are my measurements suitable for a small forward at the pro level? Just looking for an opinion. Well, it's not really about suitable, Tayshin. It's not all about measurements. Yes, we do have certain heights usually end up in certain positions, but that doesn't mean you're stuck there, and it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to play a position just because of your size or your measurements. What is really going to determine what position you play at any level is your ability to actually play the game. So you could be 6'4" with a 45-inch vertical and a 7-foot wingspan, and if you can't play at all, you can't dribble, you can't catch the ball, you can't shoot, you can't defend, you don't understand basic concepts of basketball, you want to be on the basketball team. So it's not really about your measurements, it's about your performance. Next question. Adam Soween says, what's my favorite basketball to use indoors? I don't have a favorite basketball. Just give me a basketball that at least has some grip on it, and we can go to work with that. Next question. Ahmed Masood says, anybody you see in your local gym that is as good as you at playing basketball? No. Next question. Jay Lee says, you are good at one-on-one but can't seem to flourish. If you are good at one-on-one but you can't seem to flourish in a 5-on-5, what should you do? I know it takes experience, but the more and more I play, I don't seem to get any better at team basketball. Well, Jay, you need more experience because you ain't playing enough. Next question. Matt Milan says, is Kobe washed up? Well, washed up is a relative term. So if you're asking me if I think Kobe is washed up, the answer is no. Because if you look at most players who get up to Kobe Bryant's age, especially the ones who are at his heights during his peak, how many of them are able to maintain it through that age? The only other player I could think of who got that old and still was putting up the numbers Kobe is, or being the factor in games that Kobe is, because Kobe's putting up great scoring numbers, but his shooting percentage is down. But he's still a factor. Him being on a court means his team has a chance to win that game. He has a chance to be the determining factor for his team defeating the other team. That's what I mean by being a factor, having an influence. Only other player I can think of is Michael Jordan, at least in the era since I've been watching basketball. So washed up? No, he's not washed up. Next question. Isaiah Morris says, at what age did you feel you could hold your own against anyone in basketball? That'd be age 18. Next question. Ivan Kopic says, when is another episode of Philosophy coming? I can't wait. Now, Ivan is coming soon, as soon as I record it. I didn't record it yet. Next question. Darren Laura says, Dre, I'm more skinny than Kevin Durant, but I don't explain how I can't run fast. Is there any hoop handbook for conditioning and athleticism? Yes, there is, Darren. It's called The Ultimate Athlete. It's 15 weeks. You can get that at hoophandbook.com. Next question. Nice Sneak Satsy says, what was my major in college? What are my plans for 2015? Well, plans for 2015 is just going to have to wait and see them unfold. And what was my major in college? It was business management and marketing. Cliff Stevens says, Dre, I want to start working out, but I have no real knowledge of starting. I have home equipment, but I'm someone who needs a structured plan knowing exactly what to do Monday to Sunday. Do I have any advice? Yes, go to hoophandbook.com, get the Ultimate Athlete and the Position of Power, and better yet, get the complete athletic package, which has both of those programs and a couple other programs, all for off the court and for developing the body necessary specifically for basketball players. Next question. Richard Chin says, how well do you have to shoot in practice to be a good game player? Well, Richard, that doesn't really apply. There's no requirement of shooting in practice to be good in the game. It's not like someone who makes 9 out of 10 threes in practice is guaranteed to make 4 out of 10 in the game. It doesn't work like that. It's not linear that way. So what you need to do is practice as much as you can towards the situations that you find yourself getting into in games, and that will help you perform better in the games because you're practicing as close as you can to the situation that happens in the game. No situation in practice is going to emulate a game. Next question. Laker Bulls 241 says, what's my favorite shoe to ball in? I've covered that before. My favorite all time, I say maybe the first edition of the Hyper Dunk. Next one be the Nike Shox BB4, and the next one Jordan 13. Next question. Boss Angel says, Dre, how can I make your drills habits? You said I shouldn't be memorizing a move, instead make it a habit. Could I go into more detail? Well, Boss Angel, you actually are misquoting me. That's not what I said. So the reason why you have this incorrect is because you heard it wrong. So I didn't say make them into habits. I said make them into instincts. There's a difference between a habit and an instinct. A habit is something that you do over and over again without having to think about it. Like you wake up and brush your teeth every day. That's a habit. You don't think about it. You don't have to say, oh yeah, let me make sure I brush my teeth. It's kind of like a ritual. You do it every day. Instincts are things that your body and mind respond to. They respond to a certain stimulus without you having to consciously think about it. And an instinct is something that can happen just immediately. If somebody walks in this room right now and throws a basketball at my face, I'm either going to move out the way or I'm going to put my hand, I'm going to do something to get that, not let the ball just hit me in my eye. That's an instinctive reaction. I don't have to think about it. If you're sitting there watching this video right now and a fly flies in your face, you're going to move and swat the fly out of the way. That's an instinctive reaction. You don't have to think about it. It's not a habit. You don't do it at 2 o'clock every day, because if there's no fly there, you don't have to do it. You might not have a fly in your face at all for the next 10 years, but 10 years from now, a fly gets in your face, you're going to do it. That's an instinct. So what I mean by making the drills into instincts means that you practice them so much that by the time you get into a game, your muscle memory takes over and you start using these skills without having to consciously think about it. The reason being is because in a game situation, all of you have played in games before. You know, in a game, you don't have time to stop and say, okay, the defender's playing me like this, so now let me do this move that I saw on YouTube, or that move that I was working on 3 days ago, or this move that this guy was talking about on our blog. You just have to respond immediately with whatever instincts you have. And if you don't practice enough, then you don't have the instincts to use a move. You might think about it later and say, damn, I could have did this move or that move or that move in this situation, but I didn't do it because I didn't have, number one, you don't have time to think about it. Number two, you haven't practiced it enough that you do it instinctively without thinking. So that's what I mean when I say that, Boss Angel, that you need to make the moves instinctive, not habits, but instincts. You can make a habit out of practicing, doing that every single day. You had that discipline, that persistence, that will improve your skills, but you need instincts to do them in games. And instincts comes not only from practicing, but from playing in games, game experience. Next question. WOYG 1010 says, do I follow the current high school basketball players of today, such as, he names a couple players whom I've never heard of? If so, what's my view on them? So the answer is no, and subsequently I have no view. Next question. Gene Jones says, what to expect from you in 2015? You're just going to have to wait and watch, just like I told the earlier question. Andy Sketch Talk 23 says, the chemistry question had me rolling. I don't know what that was. Next question. Michael Patterson says, why pay for the jump manual when there's free workout on the internet? Question is, what makes the jump manual so special? Well, Michael Patterson, if the jump manual free workout, I guess he's referring to the free vertical jump workbook, which I put a link to probably either in annotations or in the video description below, but he's seen it in previous videos. That's not the same as the jump manual. That's a free vertical jump workbook, which is basically some information which will help your vertical, but that's not the comprehensive 12-week jump manual program. Those are two different things, Michael. So, and to answer your second question, what makes the jump manual so special? What makes it special is that it comes with a guarantee that you're going to add tendencies to your vertical as long as you follow the program for 12 weeks. The problem, Michael, that most people have, not saying this is you, could be you, maybe not, is that people don't want to delay gratification for 12 weeks. They want to get the gratification immediately. And 95% of people who get programs, even if they pay for them, whether they get them for free or pay for them, a program like that, or even the 30-day NBA signature workout programs at hoophandbook.com, they don't do the program. They get the program and don't even complete it. I was listening to this Tony Robbins audio tape earlier today, and he said 90% of the people who buy audio tapes, like personal development tapes, they don't even listen to them. They don't even listen to the whole tape. So they buy a tape, it could be like 10 hours worth of audio, and they don't even listen to the whole thing, and they paid for it. Or then you got people who listen to the whole thing and they don't do anything with the information that they get. And that's what happens with a lot of people in programs. So what happens then subsequently, Michael, is people start to rationalize it. Like, oh, well, I don't need to buy it because I can get it for free. And guess what? When people think they can get something for free, there's no urgency. They never go get it. And then when they get it, they don't value it because they didn't pay for it. They got it for free. And then they don't use it. So they end up getting nothing. And in the end, they end up exactly where they started, the exact same place they were before when they thought that they might need the program. And Michael, the overall answer I would have to you is, if you think the jump manual is not special and is available for free and these things that you're saying here, then why are you even talking about it? If you're able to dunk and your vertical is where you want it to be, then the jump manual doesn't even matter. It shouldn't even occur to you. But I'm guessing that your vertical is not where you want it to be or where you think it could be, which means you need some information outside of yourself. And what I want to tell you is that you won't be able to learn anything as long as you think you know everything. And being that you're here in my Q&A, I guarantee you I probably know more about improving game and vertical being part of that than you do. So what you should do is get that information in the free vertical jump workbook, which you can get either in the video description or one of these annotations up here. And then if you want to, you go and get the jump manual. It comes with a 60-day money back guarantee. And if you follow the program, which 95% of people don't do, if you become one of that 5% who does, then you'll get the results. Next question. Dewan Adams says, the Knicks are doing terrible this year. Do you think they can make the playoffs? If they turn it around, what do you think is their problem now? How can they get better? Well, if they turn it around, then I guess that would equal making the playoffs. I don't know what you mean by turn it around. You had to be more specific as to what that would mean. Is it possible they can make the playoffs? Of course. If they win 25 games in a row, they'd be in a playoff position. Or whatever number it is. It's probably less than that. What do I think their problem is and how can they get better? Their problem is they're just not a good basketball team. How can they get better? They need some new personnel. Next question. Sirach Abraham says, how did I feel when LeBron James went back to Cleveland? I didn't feel anyway. Next question. AMC 2525 says, Dre, what's the ideal PSI for regulation size basketball? That's pressure per square inch, for those who don't know what PSI stands for. And AMC, why the hell would I even care about that? I don't know. When I have a basketball and I feel like it needs air, I put some air in it, and then I squeeze it to feel how much air is in it. Then I bounce it around to make sure it's cool, and I start using it. I don't care about the numbers. And usually on any basketball, it will be printed right next to the air hole how much pressure or air or weight or whatever it is. I don't even care. Next question. Nashawn Lewis says, can you do a video demonstrating and explaining Kyrie Irving's various ball spin layups from different angles on the backboard? It would be much appreciated. Well, Nashawn, here's the thing with that. It's kind of a chicken and egg situation. Any player who needs a tutorial on a kind of quote-unquote fancy moves Kyrie Irving does doesn't need to be trying to learn them, because you know where those come from, those moves that Kyrie Irving does? They come from his fundamental skill base, which is ability to make basic layups with both hands from all angles. That's the reverse, simple reverses, using the English, making layups with both hands on both sides of the rim. And the majority of players can't do that. And Nashawn, I don't know you. I've never seen you play. But if you're asking for a tutorial on this, I'm guessing your fundamental base isn't strong enough. Because if your fundamental base was strong enough, all of that stuff you see Kyrie Irving doing, at least in the highlights, the 2-minute highlight clip taken out of a 48-minute game, those highlights come from the fundamental base. And when you have that base, you'll be able to do that stuff without needing anybody to teach it to you. And the reason why Kyrie is one of the few guys to do that, yes, talent does play a role. Yes, he does have some gifts when it comes to playing basketball, but he also has that fundamental base, which was worked on for years and years before he was making NBA highlight reels from doing those layups. And a lot of players don't understand. What players don't understand is not even just players, it's human beings in general. People don't think. They don't understand there's a whole lot that goes behind the highlights that you see out there, that they get put out there for everyone to see. If Kyrie Irving gets a 3-minute YouTube video highlight, they don't understand it. It might have been 3 months, 3 years of work that went behind the 2-minute highlight video that you see. So understand that you got to do all that background work that doesn't make a highlight reel before you start making highlight reels. And when players understand that, they discipline themselves to do the work first, the highlights come without you even having to think about it. Next question. Miguel Felix says, Dre, I really appreciate the videos. You help players in all their specific needs. He says, anyway, are there any specific mechanics to ball handling, and what are they? Yes, the specific mechanics to ball handling is go get a ball, get on the court, and do the drills that I've already shared with you. Those are the mechanics. Next question. Hidden Ninja says, he thinks I'm doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you, Hidden Ninja, and also thank you to previous questioner Miguel. He says, I should put a caption of the comments I'm about to read in the video. Well, Hidden Ninja, I think that'd be a great thing, but that would probably double or triple my video editing time. So if you're willing to do that work for me, email me and let me know. Next question. Miles Mays says, first, thanks for all the vids you put out in 2014. He says, which program should I use to work on shooting off the dribble, like when I size up the defender? Well, Miles, you could use scoring moves for shooters, which is exactly what you're asking for. If you're looking for an actual signature workout program, go to the website hoophandbook.com, and each player you can read the description of the program, so it tells you what gets worked on. As far as shooting off the dribble, there's plenty of players who do that. You got a Kyrie Irving, you got a Stephen Curry, you got a Kobe Bryant, you have Kevin Durant, you got James Harden. You could take even a Steve Francis or a Stephon Marbury, John Wall, Bradley Beal, Tracy McGrady, Paul George, Jamal Crawford. So go to the site and read the player descriptions. You can also get the full roster, which is all 53 signature workout programs if you want to get ambitious and do all that work. Next question. Air Game 15 says, Dre, sometimes when I shoot, my hand comes down quickly after the shots. Are there benefits to holding your follow through, and what would you recommend? Well, Air Game, you don't even have to ask me this, so why don't you just go on the court, practice the thing that you're asking me about, and see if there are any benefits, because I can't tell you what the benefits will be for you. As I said, basketball is an art, it's not a science, which means that everybody does not have to do things the exact same way to get the result. You can watch basketball. You can pick any two basketball players you want to name who you think are good, and they don't play exactly the same way, but they both get the result, which is helping their team win and or scoring points, getting rebounds, whatever it is you think they're good at, that they're both good at. They have different ways of going about it, but they always end up getting the result. So it's not about there's one way that it works. So Air Game, what you need to do is take the things that you're postulating that might work or might not work, go practice them, and then find out for yourself. Next question. Tyrone Chris says, how many girls do you get a day? Somebody just asked me that last week. Next question. Spider Venom says, well, actually, he didn't say anything. Adrian Morales says, how do you get quicker? By practicing your quickness, Adrian. You can do that with the Ultimate Athlete 15-week program, which covers quickness as part of the several modules of the program, including speed, conditioning, strength, power, agility, flexibility, endurance, and core strength. Next question. Awesome Kid 305 says, Dre, do you have any drills for defense? And if not, how do I become a more intense defender? Well, I do have drills for defense. I actually have an entire program called the Defense Mini Handbook at hoophandbook.com. And I'll still answer his second question, even though I said if not. How do I become a more intense defender? Well, intensity is not something that you learn from reading a book. Intensity is something that comes from within you. So if you want to be more intense, then you just have to be more intense. You have to be more emotionally engaged in the game. Emotionally in a way, not that you're yelling and screaming or getting angry or fighting or getting mad at the refs. Emotionally in a way that you actually channel that energy into your defensive play. Next question. Casey Murphy says, well, what's my favorite movie of all time? Off the top of my head, I'll say Ocean's 11. Next question. Fresh LB 15 says, how come I'm cash? He says, I'm cash for shooting really deep threes, like between the 3-point line and half court, and sometimes a little further. Okay. And mid-range shots, but I can't make threes close to the line by where most people shoot threes. Fresh LB, how the hell would I be able to explain your actions to you? You should be explaining them to me. Next. Nathaniel says, how can I stop carrying the ball when I try to do a in and out crossover? By just doing it. What do you mean? How can you do it? Get on the court, practice it till you get it right. Ball is my life says, when a person plays basketball in college, what grade does a person have to get? Well, you had to consult the NCAA rule book for that answer. The information is out there, but you got to go to them to get it. We'll see how bad you actually want to know. Demola Sani says, he saw I have a Nike Fuel Band. Are you allowed to wear them in a game? Well, it depends on where you're playing. Allowed is determined by the people who are running that particular game. So one place you might be allowed to play it, another place they'll say you got to take it off. Next question. Kevin says, the winter is coming over here in New Jersey. It gets cold and there's no way for me to work on my game. I asked my dad to get a gym membership for $9 a month, but he said no, because the gym at school is enough, which is barely any time. I feel like just giving up now. They say out of all people, your parents are supposed to support you the most. And when it comes down to me, they're like the last to show any kind of support. Not just basketball, the list goes on. Okay, by the way, I was wondering, If you're wondering what my question is what do I think he should do? I thought about this over it, and I still want to keep going. All right, well, first of all, Kevin, don't get all dramatic on me with this. They say your parents are supposed to support you, but they're last to show any kind of support. We're not here for the pity party, all right? No tears here. There's no crying in basketball. Kevin, you're old enough to use the internet and use YouTube, which means you're at least 13 years old, I'm guessing. You said the gym at your school, so I don't really know how old you are, but the minimum age to use YouTube is 13. So I'm guessing you're at least 13. Your parents don't want to give you a $9 a month gym membership. 9 times 12, so it's that 90, another 18, it's $108 a year. So you need to make $108 between now and next year in order so you can use the gym so you can work on your game. Because you thought it over and you still want to work on your game. So what you're telling me, Kevin, is besides your parents giving you the money, there is no possible way you can earn $9. I find that 1000%, I can't believe it. No, that's just false. So what you need to do, Kevin, is go earn your own money. So all you need is $9, Kevin. You can make $900. You can make $9,000 if you wanted to. You want to make $9, Kevin? Why don't you go walk dogs? The winter is coming. Go shovel people's snow. In New Jersey, go shovel snow. Charge people $10, $20 there. You just paid for 2 months of your gym membership right there. And you still got $2 to spare to buy yourself a hot dog and a soda or something like that. Borrow $20 from somebody. Go to Costco or Sam's Club or Walmart. Buy a case of water or buy a case of candy or buy a case of Gatorade. Go sell each one for $1 or $2 a piece. It's like 24, 25 in a case. Now you just made yourself a profit. Now go flip that, which means go buy that same thing and do it over and over again. Every time you sell everything that you got, you made yourself a profit. And by the end of a week, you'll have enough money to pay for your gym membership. So the question that actually comes down to, Kevin, which I find is usually the trend when we're talking about YouTube comments or any type of comments on social media, is people get way more. I'm not saying this is you. I'm not saying there's any of you in this video, but what I've found in general, and as I responded to probably over 1 million comments and questions since 2007 when I started posting stuff on the internet, people get more pleasure from complaining and sharing and bitching about their problems than they do from actually solving them. So my question to you, Kevin, is not something that you have to answer. It's something you need to ask yourself. Now that you got all the bitching out of the way, you got all dramatic, my parents are not supporting me and all that other shit. Now I told you exactly what you can do. Now you got some ideas of how you can earn some money for yourself. We're only talking about $9. You're not a fool. You know how to read and write. You know how to use the internet. So those 3 pieces of those 3 skills you have right there put you in position to earn some money. Now I already gave you some ideas. You're smart enough to find some others on your own. Again, you can use the internet, go Google the shit, get some more information. Now go do something for yourself. Now, all I want to hear from you, Kevin, is how you was able to earn that money, what ideas you use. You can share those with us in a future Q&A, because then maybe somebody else can take those ideas and make some money for themselves too. So we can eliminate the my parents won't give me $9 excuses. I don't ever want to hear anybody say that to me again. Next question. It's on. Says, some players on my team have personal trainers. I can't afford one, but the signature workout programs help me just as much? Well, first of all, you got to quantify how much a personal trainer is helping somebody, and there's no real way to quantify that. The second one, how much is the signature workout program going to help you? The question you had to ask is, are you willing to do the work? And of course, everybody's willing to do the work when they're just talking about it, right? So it's kind of similar to the previous question. Are you more concerned with telling me about your problems, or are you more concerned with solving them? Because if you're more concerned with solving them, you don't even need me to answer this question. Since you can't afford a trainer, why don't you get the thing you can afford? Stop focusing on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do, which is get the signature workout program and do the program. That's the only option you have, right? Based on your question, it's on you have no other options. So whether that's going to help you or not doesn't even matter, because you have nothing to choose from. So just go do it and see what happens. Next question. KD MVP 7 says, am I ever going to do another $2.99 sale on the hoop handbooks? Because last time he bought some, and the bad thing is that he can't afford the $20 program. He can only afford it when it was on sale. Well, it's not going to happen again for them to be on sale at that price, KD MVP. But the exact same thing I said to the earlier question of the kid asking about $9. You can make $9, you can make 20. So the exact same thing. Go shovel some snow, go walk somebody's dogs, go clean somebody's house, go borrow money from somebody, tell them I'll pay you back in a week. Borrow $20 from your mom, your dad, your teacher, whoever, say I'll pay you back in a week. Go Costco, Sam's Club, anywhere you can get something in bulk. Buy some water or some candy or some chips and pretzels. It don't even matter. Get $20 worth, and each individual one, sell those for $1 or $2 a piece at school. Sell them outside of somebody's office building. Go sell them outside of the gym. Go to somewhere that's crowded in the downtown part of the city. Ask your parent to take you with them, whatever. Take them with you, whatever. Sell those off. You'll have made a profit. Keep doing it over and over again. You got yourself a business and you got yourself your money. So please don't tell me that you can't afford $20. That's complete bullshit. It's just an excuse. And again, I think you might be getting more pleasure from bitching about it than you would from actually solving it, because I'm not sure you're going to actually take my advice and use it, or if you're just throwing this out there just so you can hear me say your name on the video. Next question. Rugged Power 393 says, did you play in the Heat D League because you're wearing a Heat jersey? In one of my videos at the beginning. What Heat jersey? Next question. Balling Like the Raptors says, Dre, of all the rap albums that came out in 2014, what album would I say is my favorite? I don't know. I had to think back through the whole year. Off the top of my head, I can't really think back through all of them, so I can't answer that right now. Next question. Max Brewer says, do I know what a black roll is? If so, what do I think of it? He says, it seems to be a great product for athletes. I don't know what that is, so I can't say. Ricky Gutierrez says, do I drink milk in my, I think he means paleo. He wrote polio, but paleo diet. No, I don't drink milk anyway. Milk is a product from an animal, a cow, so you could drink milk if you wanted to, but I just don't drink milk. Next question. Ty Breezy says, why are you in a Heat jersey? What Heat jersey? I'm wearing a Work on Your Game t-shirt. Next question. Carson Ortslip says, this is the last question actually. He says, I practice a lot, I have skills, and whatever. But in games, I never seem to do anything. I'm not unconfident. I just can never do anything. It's like I never have an open shot. I have no idea why. It's not like I can't do anything. It's just that I have never seemed to have anything open in games. Any help is appreciated. Well, Carson, there's a conflict there. So you have skills, you practice a lot, you have confidence, but for some reason you don't have an open shot. Well, if you have skills, that means you're able to create an open shot, which means you know how to dribble and you know how to use footwork. So you don't have to have an open shot as soon as you touch the ball. You can use your dribbling skills and your footwork skills to create an open shot. So since you have skills, now you know what to do. So now go do it. That's it, everybody. Thank you for all the questions here. Keep the good questions coming. Next week, you will have the opportunity, actually, based on the comments in this video, for me to respond to you next week. Make sure you're not asking me something that I already addressed. Keep the fresh questions coming. You ain't got a good question to ask me, you don't have to ask a question. Maybe you'll come up with one the week after. That's it, everybody. WOYG.net is where you can get your Work on Your Game gear. HoopHandbook.com, mentioned plenty of times already. For your workout gear, make sure you are subscribed to catch all the new content coming out on this channel, which is every single day. Ain't no days off, ain't no seasons, ain't no vacations. Work on your fucking game. DreAllDay.com. Thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you follow all my top content up here. Follow me on all your favorite social networks right over here. And make sure you are subscribed to catch all the new content I put on this channel every single day. Work on your game.